What's that you say? Another Challenger Cats episode? Well, I don't mind if I do. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How is it going? It's very nice to see you. We've got a very special episode for you today because I found a replay with so many names that I know. I love when that happens. As you can see, we've got Zion Spartan throwing out a few auto attacks in the mid lane as Red Team is going for the invade already. Peek'n'Wolf caught out alone. No teammates to speak of. Takes more than half of his health. A final spear for good measure from Porpoise Deluxe. Playing that jungle Nidalee. The new wave jungle. And it seems like he's not going to be able to actually... He's not going to have spent anything really important there. No summoner spells burned on either side, but that is going to send Sion back home to base. Peek'n'Wolf going to have to head home, then come back into this game here, though actually no. Oh, he's choosing not to do that. Instead, as you can see, he does have a very sustained focused start, and he's popped 2 portions from his crystalline flask, which makes a lot of sense if you think about it, actually. He's probably going to be doing the typical Sion start. Ever since Sion was reworked, at least, where he is going to be starting at one of the 2 jungle camps between either the Wolves or the Wraith camp, or I suppose the Raptor camp, as it is now called, killing himself on that camp, getting it with his passive, coming back to life, and heading back into lane right away anyways. So when he comes back to life, when he's at the spawn, he'll recharge those charges on his flask anyways, and he'll have them back for himself with no problems at all. But it looks like he might have something of a problem, as actually Best Riven NA is choosing to go for an invade onto Peek'n'Wolf while he's doing the Raptors, because that Sion start has become fairly standard, and when something becomes standard, it can become predictable. And the very good early ward coverage from Red Team allowed them to know exactly where Sion was going to be trying to start out in the jungle here. And Best Riven NA managed to harass him back a little bit, and he actually didn't get about to completing the Raptor camp. So that might be setting Peek'n'Wolf behind a little bit in the top lane. As Best Riven NA heads on back home to base and teleports into lane as well. Both top lane teleports down as Free Papa Chow is trading here with Zerbeck. Wild Turtle down in that lane alongside Doublelift, or rather against Doublelift on the other side of the lane from him. And this game overall is just... It seems like it's going to be very, very exciting, folks. I am incredibly, incredibly happy that I found this replay. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy as well. Zerbeck landing a few auto attacks on a Wild Turtle, who does get the speed buff from the Nami passive. And this lane is going about how I expected. Wild Turtle pulling ahead a little bit here against Doublelift, simply because the matchup in lane is nearly always in favor of Caitlyn. Caitlyn is one of the best laners in the game, but we might see a little bit of a shakeup down the bottom side as Porpoise Deluxe going for his first gank of the game here. The final spear does connect, and the rend from Doublelift provides the last chunk of damage that was needed. Porpoise Deluxe diving, actually, onto the enemy support. Papa Chow getting away with barely any health, forced to pop his flash to escape out of there. Both summoners are down on Wild Turtle, not to mention the first blood going to Doublelift. Perfectly executed gank. Very, very well timed by Porpoise Deluxe. He knew exactly where he needed to be, exactly when he needed to be there. And he was able to clear his jungle much more quickly than a Rek'Sai, which is actually an impressive feat. Jungle Nidalee does have a much better clear time than she used to back when, well, no one played her in the jungle, simply because her passive now does apply to jungle monsters, and that helps her out a whole ton. But still, to outclear a Rek'Sai is an impressive thing to do on pretty much any champion, so well done by Porpoise Deluxe. Pulling through his jungle as quickly as possible, getting to the bottom lane where he knew he would be needed, where he knew that pressure would be on from blue team, and trying to help counteract it. Now, Best Riven NA and Peek'n are in a 1v1 up in top lane while Zion is getting ganked by God Orange. He's back under the tower. He does land the snare, but he's so low on health, he's not going to be able to follow that up, especially considering the Q that just landed. Peek'n'Wolf going down, does pop into the passive, pops the speed boost as soon as he's able to, but Key Burst from Best Riven is going to be stunning him up even during his death passive. And he's not going to be able to get anything out of that one, as another kill goes in favor of Red Team on the top side of the map. And Blue only has 1 to the 2 that have been picked up by Red so far. But other than that small discrepancy in kills, it has been a very even game. If you look down at the scoreboard, top lane is the only place where there's any sort of real difference in the CS. I mean, we are only just past 5 minutes in here, but God Orange looking to try and help out that top lane, perhaps. Does some good damage to Best Riven NA, forces him to leap away, and is continuing to chase after him. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Doublelift is going aggressive on the Wild Turtle, lands a few spears on a Papachow as well. Zerbeck flashing forward for the Ignite and an auto attack to proc the Kalista W passive, as Free Papachow once again will be the lone survivor as his 80 carry goes down. Nothing he could do to stop it. Tried to heal, tried to bubble, but the lack of summoner spells that Wild Turtle found himself with there after the unfortunate early gank, unfortunate for blue team that is, means that the aggression from Doublelift, that crazy aggressive play, really worked out in the end for him. I mean, he had summoner spells on his side, the Ignite from Zerbeck to be exact, whereas there was no such resource on the side of blue team, especially not for Wild Turtle, who had to burn heal and flash and didn't even make it out alive last time the gank happened down there. Bjerg trading very well with Zion Spartan here. Despite being down on CS, he does have the single kill for blue team, and that's going to even out the 5 or 6 CS deficit that he has with Zion Spartan. And of course, Lulu, a very, very solid and safe laner, able to trade even with a LeBlanc. Papachow and Wild Turtle are going to be able to take down the ward, but they are hurting in this lane down here. Doublelift and Zerbeck are getting not only a small CS advantage, which really shouldn't happen in this lane, but they also have the first blood and another kill over on Zerbeck. And that's going to really, really help Doublelift scale into this later game, where Kalista is going to be a lot more relevant than a Caitlyn is going to be able to do. Pekin Wolf up on the top side of the map, still facing off against Best Riven here, and Riven has the level 6 to Pekin Wolf's level 5. Ooh, nicely placed trap. Gonna stop Zerbeck ups in his tracks. And speaking of level discrepancies, Doublelift and Zerbeck, level 5 to the level 4 of their opponents. Might be able to go aggressive once again. Wouldn't be surprised to see Doublelift attempt another all-out brawl. Though right now, he's just working some zone patrol, which is something Kalista is actually surprisingly good at. She's fairly short range, especially compared to a Caitlyn. Oh, Riven going aggressive here. Pekin Wolf turning around and actually trading pretty well with him, despite the fact that he's gotten behind in terms of gold by a little bit, and certainly behind in terms of levels. God Orange looking to try and equalize the difference down the bottom side of the map, though there's a teleport coming from Riven. He's coming to the bottom lane, and Best Riven NA looking for a gank, has his ult running, and he's going to make good use of it. That is going to be Free Papachow going down very, very quickly, as God Orange, regretting this gank big time, gives up another kill to Doublelift, who is 2-0-2, and working on getting the pieces of that Runon's Hurricane put together in his inventory. Already has the recurve bow, getting a lot of attack speed from that, as Doublelift is actually going to pop the Kalista ult, throw Zerbeck towards Wild Turtle, and they are going so ham for this dive. Zerbeck is incredibly low, and Wild Turtle hasn't even dropped below half. That was way too over-aggressive from Doublelift and Zerbeck. And here's the other teleport. Pekin Wolf coming down to the bottom side of the map is going to be knocking up Doublelift 1 time, 2 times. He manages to find an opening to flash over the wall between all of the CC that Sion was slamming in onto him. But that is going to be his flash down. That's going to be his support giving up a kill, bringing Wild Turtle back into this one. I mean, he was desperate at this point. He was building double Doran's Blade, just trying to stay relevant in this lane, which is where Caitlyn is supposed to have the power spike over a Kalista. But a little bit of over-aggression from Doublelift and Zerbeck is going to lead to Caitlyn getting back into this game somewhat. Wild Turtle does have a way back now. He has a road to get himself into a more manageable position in this match, because so far it's been a little bit rough for him down on the bottom side of the map. Top, a mirror of bottom, going in favor of red team as well. And Sion, really not that much he can do against a Riven in a 1v1 once he does begin to fall behind. Porpoise Deluxe and Zion Spartan both have roam to the bottom side of the map. We might see a fight break out down there, though very, very safe play from Papachow and Wild Turtle is going to keep them, well, safe. That is kind of the purpose of safe play. They are going to be standing under their turret, but the downside of that is that they have absolutely no pressure on this dragon. Doublelift alone is enough to keep that lane pushed up. and keep the pressure on the bottom side of the map so that Porpoise, Zion, and Zerbeck can all go and finish off the Dragon. That is going to be the first Drake of the game, going over to Red Team. Well done by them. They certainly have a lead on this match. Nothing insurmountable. Blue Team has ways back into the game here, but it's going to be a long trek for them, and they're going to have to... I think the mid-game is probably where they're going to be most able to repair the damage that has happened so far. God Orange, speaking of damage, takes a lot of it. Rek'Sai going down in her own jungle. Rek'Sai is a she, by the way, a champion. Not very feminine looking, I have to say, but is indeed a female Void Beast. Didn't even know that there was differentiation between the two, but hey, I'm not one to judge. Best Riven NA going in for the stun there, and it just seems like a continual pattern of harass and jump away as Porpoise Deluxe is coming in the mid lane along with Zerbeck roaming from bot for a gank onto Bjerg. Bjerg is actually forced to flash away there under the tower, but wonderfully played by Bjergsen's Lulu. He stayed alive for so long, and that's really all he needed to do there. There wasn't much hope of actually getting a kill back. Woof, the damage on that Glitter Lance is impressive. Zion Spartan getting chunked away by that purple and pinkish sparkling laser. Very, very dangerous, even if it does look fairly whimsical. Zerbeck finding God Orange, trying to roam into his jungle, and God Orange has had a rough time of it so far. The snare's going to land onto him. He is CC'd up, and there is no way out of this. He's going to be giving up the killing spree over to Doublelift. A little bit of a questionable decision to hang around in that mid lane when he knew so many resources of red were in the area. But he really did not want to give up the turret, and it looks like he actually managed to hold out long enough for Bjergsen to get back, so they will not be picking up the turret, but they did manage to take the kill instead. And I really think that he needed to be able to stay alive for the next few minutes, because God Orange is just falling further and further behind, and Rek'Sai needs to get a little bit of an early lead. Perhaps not even a lead, but just needs to stick around and be relevant in the early game if she wants that relevance to continue on later and later into the match. And as I said, the mid game is probably going to be the place in this game, and we're coming up on it right now. We're about 12 minutes in where Blue Team will have a chance, just judging by composition. Caitlyn has a fairly powerful mid game. They have a good amount of AoE CC in the combination of Lulu, Sion. That alone is very, very strong, especially for initiating a fight, as well as the tidal wave follow-up from Papa Chow. Rend chunking away Wild Turtle. And more than the Rend, what's chunking these guys away down on the bottom side of the map, the fact that Doublelift has finished off a Runon's Hurricane. That is a huge, huge power spike for Kalista, able to stack up the spears on multiple targets insanely quickly and clear out those minion waves like it's nobody's business. Zion Spartan leaping on in, the chain going in some crazy directions, none of them though going to be hitting Bjerg, and it looks like Bjergsen is doing a great job in this mid lane of just holding the control here, constantly winning the 1v1 trades. It's only because Porpoise Deluxe doesn't really have to focus anywhere else on the map that Bjergsen is having something of a difficult time getting the kills that it looks like he'd be able to finish off otherwise. We see a lot of pressure coming from all over the map onto Bjergsen's mid lane because it is the one point of contest really for Blue Team. Flash forward from Best Riven NA, the ult popped to cancel the animation as well from his E, or the other way around rather. And it looks like Best Riven NA is going to be able to pick himself up another kill with a quick 1-2 flash. The ult's still running, just uses it to clear out some minions. Not really the, he just popped the ult there to get a little bit of extra AD to make the third proc of Broken Wings, as well as the auto attack right thereafter, do that much, that little bit more damage that made it so that Bjergsen had no time to react. Because Bjergsen did have perhaps his shield up to save himself, or maybe he could have dodged away, or maybe he would have survived an auto attack or two and been able to whimsy himself out of there if it weren't for the ult being popped. So really a safety measure to make sure that he got the kill there. God Orange turning around with the Chilling Smite on the Zion Spartan is trying to keep himself alive in his own jungle, and half the time he can't even succeed. He's down below 100 hit points. Sion popped in the top lane. There's the knockup, does land on the Best Riven NA, but there's just no damage coming out of Beacon Wolf. He's gone full tank because he's had to be able to survive these trades, and the result of that is that he really can't win any of these fights. He can just kind of stall them out and make them not instantly losses, which is better than dying. It certainly is. Building tanky was the correct choice here, but he was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, because even after this fight has been going on for the entire duration since I first mentioned it, and he's just now gotten Best Riven NA down below half hit points, there is very, very little chance that he ever gets the solo kill against Riven. If that were to happen, it would have to take 2 solid minutes, and Best Riven NA would probably have had to face plant it onto his keyboard at some point, because he has so much mobility and there is so little damage from the Scion. There's the Riven ult popped, and actually Pekin Wolf, as I said, very tanky himself. I don't think Best Riven NA is going to be able to get this solo kill either, so it's just kind of become a stalemate up here in this lane, as actually the shouts are doing some decent damage, but that's the shield dash. Valor going to be getting Best Riven NA to safety. The slow lands the shield there, the E as well! The magic damage, I underestimated the amount of magic damage that comes out of just the base values from a Scion. And I apologize to everyone because I did not expect that from Pekin Wolf. Lots of burst there at the very end was saving it to surprise both me and Best Riven NA. And, well, the tactic worked. He managed to pick up a solo kill. That is only the 3rd one of the game for Blue Team. Every kill counting right now. And he's going to go on to get some pressure in the top lane, get some damage on the turret, get some much-needed relief from the constant stress and pressure that Red Team has been pushing all over the map. Speaking of which, the spears are stacking up. That rend is going to be huge on the dragon, and there is basically no possibility of a steal here. Kalista secure onto the dragon. Red Team, 16.5 minutes in, get their 2nd dragon of the game, and here comes the 3-man gank to the mid lane. Bjerg actually popping the ult is going to be able to create some distance at least, but the tornado times out before it manages to connect. Bjergsen takes the last little bit of damage needed from Zion, though. Very mobile LeBlanc, able to catch up even to a Lulu, but here comes the tidal wave from off on the side. Doublelift flashing away from the bubble, keeping himself alive a little bit longer as Best Riven NA shows up as backup. He is going to be chasing down into God Orange, landing the knockup. Zerbeck here to follow up, and that is a double kill for Best Riven NA, giving him 5 kills this game total. He has so much damage right now. This game is getting very, very out of hand for Blue Team. And as I said, the mid game was the point where I thought maybe they could make some kind of comeback if they were to play a team fight correctly, if they were to group and make these fights happen favorably for themselves. Pick fights in the jungle where the tidal wave and the Scion ulti are going to be doing huge amounts of work, but they haven't been able to do that. Every single fight has been picked on Red Team's terms. They've been diving turrets, they've been ganking lanes. It really has felt like an extended laning phase for the past 17 minutes now, and that's not what Blue Team wants. The laning phase is being won by Red Team. There is nothing that Bjergsen can do here. He keeps getting ganked over and over. God Orange does not have the pressure to make anybody scared. Zion Spartan just ignoring him as he flashes forward for the last auto attack to finish off the kill into Bjergsen, and God Orange is just forced to flash out of there to keep himself alive. Zion Spartan getting healed by the Nidalee, keeps himself alive a little bit longer as Doublelift comes from the side, aggressive as hell. He doesn't care at all. He's going to leap his way out of the Scion ulti. He's going to leap his way out of everything except for that knockup, but the ult will save himself as Zerbeck comes in as backup there. Soulbound brothers for life. Zerbeck keeping him safe, and Pekin Wolf not going to be able to pick up another surprise kill this time. Ooh, Zion Spartan leaping over the wall, gets the kill under the tower. He knows the limitations of his champion, and he makes use of them even to the last hit point. It's going to be the 13th kill of the game for Red Team, the 3rd kill of the game for Zion Spartan, who had the roughest laning phase out of Red Team, but has certainly come back into his own here. Papa Chow getting harassed a little bit by Zerbeck. Actually, he's going to escalate the scales of this fight a little bit. There's the slow landing from Pekin, the knockup as well, and Zerbeck might have chosen a bad time to try and harass an enemy since he had a lot more friends than he had been reckoning for. And that's going to be the 5th kill of the game for Blue Team, but so far Blue has only managed a few small picks like that here or there. I think a solo kill in the mid lane by Bjergsen early on was the only shimmer of hope for the laning phase in the mid game, but other than that, it's just been a pick-off here, a pick-off there, getting the scraps of whatever they can across the board, and they haven't been able to play this game on their terms. Not even once have I seen a fight engaged by Blue Team with, like, that I can respectably call a team fight, with multiple members of both teams, 3 or more on both sides, that was solidly won. Not engaged by either team, really. That was solidly won by Blue Team. They needed to pick those fights earlier when they maybe had less of a disadvantage. But now that Doublelift has finished off a Bloodthirster and a Runons, now that he has that double item, huge power spike for Kalista, and the last Whisper just got completed on the side of Best Riven NA, I see virtually no way back into this game for the next 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes for Blue Team. They're going to have to pull off an amazing stall to pull themselves back into this match. 4 members of Red Team down on the bottom side of the map, and if they needed to stall, they are certainly not pulling it off right now. Zerbeck gets pulled away by the Doublelift ulti as Porpoise Deluxe is going in. Free Baba Chow and Peek&Wolf flashing synchronized to try and escape, but the edge of the wind slash from Riven picks up the kill. Nami's going to be going down seafood for dinner tonight as Riven will be flashing forward, gets knocked up twice in a row though, so cannot land her own knock up, and that's a lot of damage coming out of Peek&Wolf and from the turret. However, the healing from Monsoon, Zerbeck will save Riven's life, and the Ignite burning on him not going to be enough to take him down as Peek&Wolf goes into the death form and doesn't get anything out of it. Bjergsen, very, very low on health, is getting dove again by Best Riven NA, but there's the Whimsy, going to be keeping him as a cupcake, a lot less threatening than a woman with a giant sword. And Free Papa Chow, trying his best to pick up the scraps of this team fight, is just going to be giving up another kill to Doublelift, who is 4-0-9. Very, very consistent match so far from this AD carry. Ooh! The Caitlyn ult actually snuck right through Porpoise Deluxe and Doublelift. I think they both assumed that the other one was going to block it, and neither one of them actually got in the way. So that is going to be another kill picked up by Wild Turtle. His second of the game so far, but as I said, Blue Team has just managed to pick up the scraps of these fights. Pick up the scraps all over the map, but never have they actually gotten a solid, beneficial meal. And they're fairly underfed because of it. Porpoise Deluxe taking down the enemy Krugs, leave nothing uncountered, and head on home back to base to spend that well-earned gold. This game looking rough for Blue Team, and I want to say that they do have ways back into the match. I want to say that if you're rooting for Blue Team, then you shouldn't give up hope, but it's a difficult thing to actually say, because there is a lot of late-game power in Red Team's pockets. They've got the Nidalee tossing out the long-range, hefty damage spears. Riven, of course, is a powerhouse of damage at any point past maybe 10 minutes into the game, or essentially past any point where Riven gets any decent amount of armor penetration. So Peek&Wolf choosing perhaps a unwise 1v1 with Best Riven NA does go down in the end as Papa Chow and God Orange are caught between a rock and a hard place. There's the double kill from Riven, and God Orange, giving up all hope, will go down. Triple kill for Best Riven NA as Zion Spartan pulling off perhaps the first successful 1v1 of the game against Bjergsen here. And that is the last flame of hope for Blue Team, extinguished summarily by Zion Spartan's LeBlanc. Up until this point, he hadn't been able to actually pull off the 1v1 against Bjergsen, but the ace comes out for Doublelift as Porpoise Deluxe, split pushing in the mid lane, will get a turret of his own. The rest of his team pushing it onto the inhibitor turrets, and this looks like it could very well be the end for Blue Team. Free Papa Chow comes out of the base with Tidal Wave already rolling. Peek&Wolf doing his best to try and stall this as well, but nope, it's the surrender vote. Blue Team gives up the ghost. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Octavian, and I will see you all next time. Though, actually, no. I do have one little announcement that I would like to make here at the end of the video. If you've made it this far, first off, thank you very much. You are wonderful, and I love you. Second, I will be casting for the HSL tonight. That is the High School Star League. If you are interested in watching, I'll throw a link to that in the description. And I hope you show up. It'll be nice to see you there. My name is Octavian. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you either tonight or next time.